Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Get excited because today we're covering the first season of the anime Dr. Stone.
Based on the popular manga, the series is set 3,700 years after a mysterious flash of light petrified the human population. And where teenage genius Senku Ishigami revives himself to find himself in a world where all traces of human civilization have been eroded by time.
Yes. And when we had heard about this on Toonami, we didn't know what the heck it was, but we had seen advertised for it on their blog, and when they would have new episodes of shows, and every half hour was a new show. They would have Hero Academia, they have Fire Force, and Punch Man, they would have this in the lineup. Mm-hmm. But we didn't watch that, so we kind of skipped over that for several weeks when it would air live.
And then we were looking at the Twitter feed, and I kept seeing different posts and things, and it looked so interesting. I says, we gotta really take a look at this and see. Mm-hmm. And we watched one episode, and it was over. It was like, oh my gosh! And then knowing that Eric Dismuke was doing the voice of Senku, was like, okay, that's it. We gotta watch it.
Right.
So.
And we didn't know, and here's the thing, we didn't know what it was about at all. We just saw, like, everything's in stone. I figured it was going to be Stone Age. Half right, it is Stone Age, just not, going back in time or anything. It's such a weird premise because you really don't see it coming when you watch it, and you don't even know how it even started. You just say, okay, world turned to stone because of a petrification beam. Where'd it come from? You don't know. Who made it? You don't know. Was it natural? Was it aliens? Was it humans? You don't know. It just happened and you deal with it. As bad as the quirks. It's like 50 years ago, people didn't have powers. Then people got powers. The end.
So we'll end up finding out, I'm sure, more about this in the second season. I think the second season is going to be called Stone Wars. And the series starts off, as we mentioned, with him. He actually didn't awaken himself. I have to really. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he was awake the whole time, actually.
Right, he was counting down the days. And they said, do you know how many days you've been asleep? He's like, doesn't everyone? And then he started telling them how many days, and everyone that he would awaken and tell were just stunned. And as I mentioned, Senku's voiced by Aaron Dismuke, who voiced Elric in Full Metal Alchemist, the 2003 series. And he's perfect. He is awesome. He is wonderful. He's got the perfect voice for this character. It's got this dry wryness to it, but it's got this friendliness to it. It's got this quality that makes you interested in what he's saying. And you absolutely adore the character. Somehow his little quirkiness and his little quirky look and his nerdiness is just adorable. And I remember we first learned that he was talking about his dad, and we won't have any spoilers. His dad wanted to go to the moon, but he's the scientist.
Right.
And so his dad ends up going to the moon, and he's proud of his dad going to the moon, but he's a scientist who figured out everything, who would tell his dad everything, who his dad just doted on with all these different scientific equipment and apparatuses, and he would take them different places, and it was just really, really cute, really sweet, the relationship you got to see them have. So,
yes, and as the show goes on, you see more characters are revealed. At first, you're kind of thinking, like, as the characters are being released from the stone, are these, like, the last living people on Earth? Everyone else is still in stone. And then you have to wonder, how do they get out of the stone? How do they, wake themselves up? Or does something come? And stuff. There's still, like, a lot there for you to process.
Right.
Since there's such a big time gap, because by the time it gets to them waking up, everything, like the technology, the buildings and stuff, everything's gone. So it's basically like everything is starting over.
Right, and you assume that everyone was petrified. and everyone was asleep, but you learn later on that wasn't the case.
Right.
That people who, there were a group of people that didn't get petrified, and you have to watch the show to find out why.
Right.
They're the ones who set up a lot of things in hopes that all the people who were petrified awaken.
Right.
So the first person Senku wakes up is his best friend. And his best friend, at the time when everyone was put to sleep, he was trying to tell this girl that he was in love with her. And that's what he was concentrating on when this big event happened, and both he and the girl got petrified at the same time as he was trying to tell her he loved her. And Senku knew what he was doing.
Right.
So he wakes them up first. He wakes up his best friend first, and then the best friend, of course, wants to wake up the girl that he loves. So they're the first three to awaken.
Right. And then later on, they want to wake up a fourth person. They needed someone with muscles since it's mostly jungle and animal life, and it's been years, it's been probably millennia since they've seen humans, so they're going to freak out when they see them. And his best friend's a pacifist, so there's no way he's going to attack an animal or fight back.
Taiju, voiced by Rico Fajardo.
Right.
And he also voices a character in My Hero Academia.
Right. And then one thing is funny is that you're thinking, okay, you got to get used to this guy. And like after an episode, you kind of realize how in all of the billions of people in Stone, you wake up the one crazy guy. One of the crazy people.
And it's so hilarious. I know they did this on purpose. And his name happens to be Tsukasa.
Right.
And he will do anything but welcome you to his home.
Right.
And yeah, this guy is like, he was the strongest private high schooler. He's supposedly intelligent and strong and tall. And I guess he was good looking during the time he was awakened. But he's also a psychopath.
Right.
He's really a psychopath. And at first, you think, okay, this is going to be good. Didn't fool Rascal. Rascal said, what's wrong with this guy? And what do you mean? She said, something's wrong with this guy. This isn't going to go well. And within 10 minutes, we found out he's a psychopath. And he thinks that the people who are elderly should all be killed, meaning the petrified forms should be broken up and destroyed so they can never be awakened. And only the young people who have something to contribute, and he will make the world a better place in his mind, should be revived. Of course, Senku doesn't believe that.
Right. It's like,
he believes everyone should have a chance to wake up, henceforth why his crazy ass was awakened.
Right.
And after that, they become enemies.
Right. And this whole arc is the first season is 24 episodes. We think there's going to be only 2 seasons of the show because there are only 14 volumes, and the manga ended in December of 2019. So it looks like there might be maybe 2 or 3 seasons of the show, and then probably that'll be the rest of the story. So it's not going to be as long as some of these others, nor will it be constantly ongoing after the story's over. But there were times in there where when they make things, they're making things from scratch all over again. Like they're making houses, trying to make phones, they're trying to make all these different things from scratch, and the material's already laid out. And what's funny is that the stuff is true. It's not stuff they're making up or going through gobbledygook. It's the actual thing, which is why at the end...
It shows the power of science.
Right. And then they have to tell you at the end...
And we're 10 billion% certain that everything Senku makes works.
Right. And then at the end, they even say, do not imitate anything you see on here, because they don't want to get in trouble for you trying to make things out of using dangerous chemicals and materials like
cola, like Coca-Cola.
Yes.
And of course, people are doing it online.
Yes. Yes, there was an episode where he made homemade Coca-Cola. They couldn't say Coca-Cola, but you knew this what it was.
Right.
And they said, don't try this at home. And then a bunch of people tried it at home and started making it. And they even have these little moments where it'll be all of a sudden, it'll be like they're in the stone place, and all of a sudden they're teaching you how to make things. They're in a kitchen. They have a robot there that's telling you some of the instructions, and they have this, that, and the other. Like, I thought you were in the Stone Age. Why are you suddenly back in present time?
Right.
And it's so funny because people will kind of get pissed and be like, why do you keep changing the thing? Next thing you know, Senku's rapping or something.
Right.
Like, where's the Stone Age? Quit changing time periods.
What's brilliant about this anime is it's funny, it's witty, And it is based in science. He explains everything that he's doing, and he tells you the different ingredients and what chemical reactions would happen, or what physics are involved in it, or what biologically was going to form. And he explains everything. And again, Dismuke is perfect for this because you're really interested in what he's saying. And you know everything he's doing, and he's explaining to the people. So Senku's actually the science teacher for these people who've only been able to hear stories about some people from the past that were passed down. And he's teaching them a lot. And then there's a guy that's a member of the tribe that he meets that was a scientist in his own right, but didn't know that he was a scientist, and he had been studying the plants and gathering things and seeing how different things reacted. So of course he loves Senku and all they're doing. Right. So it's just brilliant. This is an absolutely brilliant show. It is one of the most perfect animes ever made. And if you haven't seen it, you will absolutely adore it when you watch it, because you hear Dr. Stone, and we're not going to spoil it for you, to find out who Dr. Stone really is. Right. And really love all the humor in there as well, because it is supposed to be action. It's supposed to be some type of drama, but there's just so much comedy in here. It's adventure, post-apocalyptic, but half the time it's comedy. Yes. Especially when you're dealing with his friend who yells everything. Like every time, who made you cry? What does it mean? There's no one else on the planet. and there were things that they would say, or little pop-ups that would come up in the chibi form. And there's also this running gag, Senku's brilliant, but when it comes to doing actual groundwork, he can't do anything. And like he'll get tired in 5 minutes and just exhausted because he can't lift crap or anything. If it's done with the brain, he can do anything. But if he has to actually do physical work, he just passes out. Now, they also, I would like to mention, they also have some really strong female characters in this show. Really strong, really brainy, really beautiful. And it works out perfectly. You've got your cavalcade of, I guess, trope characters. You got funny guys. You got strong men. You got the ones that aren't so bright. You got the ones that can easily learn. You got the ones that are eager to learn. You've got the different female types. They're all drawn sexy, right? But some of them are smarter than the others. Some are more in touch with the feminine side. They even have one who's the leader. So you've just got all these different characters that are interesting, and they're voiced by the very perfect English dub actors. They're just absolutely perfect. One of which we must mention, Justin Briner. Yes! Deco! And you don't recognize him at first. You have to hear him a little, and we won't tell you which character he does. But you have to listen a little, and then suddenly you hear it and you go, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's All Might. No. Right. Oh my gosh, it's Deku. And his character on here is similar to Deku, except for he's not going to be the greatest hero that ever existed. No. But he learns to be stronger. He learns to be better. He has a lot of self-doubt, and he learns to be more confident in that he actually has an important role in the tribe, and that they depend on him for different things. You've also got Tenya, J. Michael Tatum. Yeah. You've got Josh Grell. You've got Jerry Jewell, Brandon McInnes, J. Michael Tatum's Boo. So it's just really brilliant. And if you haven't seen this show, you should watch it. It's available now on demand through Toonami. You can also see it through Crunchyroll and Funimation subscriptions. And from we understand that it is the 15th ranked anime on Netflix in Japan. Unfortunately, it's not on Netflix in the U.S. Right. It just kind of sucks because a lot of anime is on that you would love to watch on there, but I think they want you to go to Crunchyroll or Funimation or straight to the provider for the anime. And we want to mention also Ian Sinclair voices Tsukasa. Oh, and he's perfect as Tsukasa. So, if you haven't seen this anime, check it out. If you have seen it and you've watched it and or read the manga, let us know what you think in the comments below.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on new Paws podcasts.
Especially when we get to cover Season 2, The Stone Wars. That should be coming out sometime this year.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace and enjoy the power of
science.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later on in the form of a locket.